Okay, listen, if you were my best friend, as someone who works in finance, I would not be telling you to invest harder or to budget harder or to save more money, as that advice is generic and it doesn't help most people. But here is what I would be telling you instead. Money habits stay the same. Okay, imagine this. I am feeling very generous today, and since you're my best friend, I want to give you £1,000. Here you go. What would you do with that £1,000? What would you? Now imagine this. I've won the lottery. Yay, Mahad, you won the lottery. We're all getting rich. And today I want to give you £100,000 instead of £1,000. What would you do with that £100,000? Would your answer change from how you would treat the £1,000? It probably would. Where most people would say, oh my God, it's £100,000, so I'm going to save it, or I'm going to invest it, or I'm going to start a business. But in reality, the way that we treat £1,000 is the exact same way that we treat £100,000. As the numbers change, but the habits, they don't change. We as humans were so funny because we believe that if we make more money, then managing money will magically become easier. But that's not true. That's a lie that we tell ourselves. Because spending habits stay the same no matter how much you make. And that's why there are people out there who win the lottery, they make all of this money, and then they go broke. It's because their spending habits haven't changed. Like, think of it like this. Money is like a microphone. I have a microphone right here. Money's like a microphone. It just turns up the volume on the habits that you already have. It just turns up the volume on the kind of person that you are. That's why some people, when they make money, they become horrible people. It's not because they weren't horrible people to begin with, but it's because money revealed who they truly were. And it's the exact same with spending habits. So if you are reckless with money when you're broke, you're going to be reckless with money when you have more money. That's the truth. So what I want you to do is I want you to be real with yourself and I want you to ask yourself, what are my bad money habits? For example, for me, guys, I'm going to put my hands up. When I am stressed out, I like to spend money. That is my bad money habit, and I've improved over the last few years. So ask yourself, what is your bad money habit? Because I promise you, if you don't begin working on them now, they will still be showing up in your life in 5, 10, or 20 years. And we don't want that. We want to get better. Okay? The people around you shape your finances. Have you guys ever heard of the phrase birds of a feather flock together? And I'm not talking about that Billie Eilish song, birds of a feather. I'm not talking about that. Why do you think that that phrase has been such a popular phrase over the last few centuries? Why do you think it's such a historic phrase? It is because it's true, that there's truth to it. Most of us think that money is just about us, it's just about the decisions that we make, but it isn't. Because if your friends, if your family, if your partner are bad with money, if they lack ambition, if they don't want more for themselves, then it doesn't matter how perfect you are, it will affect you. You kind of need to think of money like a contagious virus. If you are constantly around people who are making the wrong decisions, then you will get infected with those beliefs. You will. And it will stop you from upgrading your life. I promise you. So you need to be very, very strict. In 2026 onwards, Kim Jong Un, we are running the strictest program from this point onwards. And of course, you can't just cut off your friends or your family or your mum because she doesn't have the same habits or vision as you. But you need to be strict with your time. You need to be strict with the people that you spend time around as much as you can. Spend your time with people who want more, with people who see the vision, with people who are working to get better. For example, one of my best friends, we speak every single day. We both know the kind of life that we want for ourselves. And that's why we're best friends. As remember, you are the average of the people that you spend your time with. So you have to choose very, very carefully. Stop taking advice from your parents. Do you want to make your parents proud? You probably do. Do you want to retire your parents? You probably do also. So what you need to do is stop listening to them. Stop listening to your parents. A lot of money advice from our parents comes from a completely different time, where a lot of parents, especially if you come from certain backgrounds, they say, okay, get an education, then get a good job, and then your life is sorted. That's the advice that we've often been given. But a lot of the advice that we've been given, it worked when houses were cheaper. It worked when jobs lasted forever and they could actually fund your lifestyle fully and look after a family. It worked when the economy was completely different. But the world has changed and the economy has changed, so our strategy also needs to slightly change. It's like trying to play a video game with old instructions. The map is different, the rules are different, but you're still using the same old instructions. It just doesn't work. You will always end up losing. So, what you need to remember is that respect your parents' advice, respect it, but tweak it and ask yourself, does this still work today? Does this still apply today? Because there are certain things, certain fundamentals that still apply today, like building assets. You want to build your assets, that's an important part of building wealth. But certain elements just don't match today, they just don't work today. Focus on time in and not timing. A mistake that so many people make when they're trying to upgrade their money is that they think that they need to be smart enough to pick the perfect investment or the perfect strategy or the perfect business. But that's so wrong. That's a trap. It's a lie. Because a lot of the time, starting early matters more than picking the perfect strategy, as time is literally what makes money grow. A good analogy for this is the analogy of social media. So what happens when someone wants to start building a platform like what I'm doing here today? They start posting, they post one video, two videos, three videos. No one's watching the video, no one's engaging. But over time, the posts stack up. Followers attract new followers. The engagement starts to snowball and increase. Where in finance, this is what we would call compounding. That's what we call it. Where it's basically when growth starts off really, really small and then it gets faster and it gets faster and it gets faster. That's what compounding is. And the beautiful thing here is that compounding applies to everything. It applies to social media, it applies to business, it applies to skills. But most importantly, it applies to money and making money. Where you don't need to be the smartest. Of course, you're not going to try and pick something that has absolutely no potential to make you money or to grow. But it's far more important to just start something that has some sort of potential, start it early and wait for 1 year, for 3 years, for 5 years, for 7 years. As money rewards patience, not perfection. And if you were to look at all of the people that you admire, all of the successful people, you will see that they followed this journey of compounding. They spent years trying to make money or trying to do something or investing before you saw the growth or before you saw the success that they talk about now. Compounding is everywhere. So start to look for it and start applying it to your own life. What is enough for you? What is your financial goal? What is it? Is it 100K? Is it 1 million? Is it 10 million? Is it a billion? What are your financial goals? Take a second. I want you to think about it. What are your financial goals? As most people will have an answer to this question, most people will be able to say a number or say some sort of goal that they have. But what most people don't have is an answer to the question of why do you want that? Why is that your financial goal? Because a lot of people forget this, but when you don't know what enough looks like, then wanting more and wanting more becomes your default setting. Where money stops being about living a good life and looking after your family and having safety and security. And it starts becoming about feeding this hunger that you have that never ever ends, feeding this monster inside of you that just wants more and more and more. And none of us want to live that kind of life. It's not a happy life. And science literally backs this up. They call it hedonic adaptation. That's what they call it. Where the more that you get, the faster that you get used to it, and the more that you continue to want. And that's why some very, very rich people, they still feel empty and they feel the need to do crazy, crazy stuff to fill the void that they have inside of themselves. It's because they never stopped to think, what is enough for me? What is the life that I want to live? What will truly satisfy me and my heart and my soul? For example, for me, I feel like I have quite modest goals. I want to probably become a millionaire. I feel like I can do it. But the reason I kind of want to achieve this is because I live in London. London's very expensive and I want to have a comfortable life. And I don't really believe that you can if you don't have a significant amount of money in London. But I know that I don't want crazy, crazy, crazy amounts of money. I don't need to have 20 million or 100 million because it's excessive. I know what kind of life that I want and I know what I need to get there. So remember that having enough isn't just a number, but it's a boundary. It's the point where having more money in your life doesn't improve your life or the lives around you that much. That's the boundary. So ask yourself, what do you need? How much money do you need to reach that boundary? Think about it. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I hope you found it valuable. If you would like to see more like this, make sure you comment down below because we are getting our money up, not our funny up.